Alright, let's go. Number 10, HD 1888753AB. The planet with 3 suns. If you were standing on the surface of this planet, you would witness something that seems impossible. One sun would slowly sink below the horizon, just like on Earth, but instead of darkness, a second sun would immediately rise, followed by a third. This planet exists inside a tight triple star system, making it the first world ever reported to orbit not one, not two, but 3 suns. At the center of the system is a main yellow star, very similar to our own sun. Nearby, 2 smaller stars orbit each other closely in a gravitational dance, while together circling the main star. If you could somehow survive on a hypothetical moon orbiting this giant planet, your shadow would split into 3 different directions, and true darkness might never fully arrive as the suns take turns lighting the sky. The planet itself is a gas giant, slightly heavier than Jupiter, orbiting extremely close to its stars and completing one full orbit in just 3.5 days. That proximity creates a serious scientific problem. According to current models, gas giants are supposed to form far from their stars, in cold regions filled with dust and gas. In this system, the nearby stars should have stripped that material away entirely, and yet, early data suggested the planet was there. But when astronomers tried to find it again using more precise instruments, they found nothing. No confirmation has followed. The planet may exist, or it may never have existed at all. Number 9, HD 80606b. The Whiplash Planet. This planet is also known as the Whiplash Planet, and you'll quickly understand why. On this world, conditions can shift from deep cold to intense heat in a very short time. That's because, unlike Earth and most planets that move in a fairly steady circle around their star, this planet follows an extremely stretched orbit, closer to the path of a comet than a planet. For around 100 days, it drifts far away from its star, floating through cold darkness. Then it begins a dramatic dive inward. In a span of just 20 hours, the planet rushes toward its star, swings around it at a dangerously close distance, and is then thrown back out into space. During this close pass, the encounter is violent. If Earth were placed in the same position, our atmosphere would be torn away and the surface would melt into magma almost instantly. For this planet, the approach acts like a sudden burst of energy. In only 6 hours, temperatures on the side facing the star jump from about 930 degrees Fahrenheit to over 2000. The star blasts the planet with more than 1,000 times the energy Earth receives from the sun and from the cloud tops. The star would appear to swell until it looked about 30 times larger in the sky. The heat hits so fast that the atmosphere can't adjust, causing powerful shockwave storms and winds reaching around 11,000 miles per hour. Then, almost as suddenly as it began, the planet flies away and cools so quickly that it becomes invisible to infrared telescopes like Spitzer. What confuses astronomers is that the star's gravity should slowly smooth this orbit into a circle. Instead, the planet seems unusually stiff, resisting that change and possibly remaining trapped in this brutal loop for billions of years. Number 8, PSRB 1257+12. The zombie planets. Astronomers gave this system an unsettling nickname, and there's a reason for it. At the center is a star called Lich, named after a mythical creature associated with the undead. Lich is a pulsar, a type of neutron star formed after a massive star collapses. It spins incredibly fast, rotating about 160 times every single second, and it is extremely hot, with temperatures reaching over 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Orbiting this star are 3 planets, and they were the very first exoplanets ever confirmed, discovered in the early 1990s. To understand why they're often called zombie planets, imagine standing on one of them. You would be constantly flooded with intense radiation from the pulsar, enough to sterilize almost anything. Looking up at the sky would be disturbing. Instead of a steady sun, you would see a violent strobe-like flash as beams of energy sweep past you hundreds of times every second. The light would pulse so fast it would feel unnatural, almost maddening. These planets themselves are thought to have formed from the remains of a catastrophic event, likely from the debris left behind when 2 white dwarf stars collided and merged long ago. In a sense, they were born from death. Worlds circling a dead star, made from the wreckage of other stars, continuing to exist in an environment that should have ended them long ago. Number 7, Trace 2b, the darkest planet ever found. This planet looks nothing like anything in our own solar system. Trace 2b is a gas giant similar in size to Jupiter, but in 2011 astronomers discovered something deeply unsettling about it. It reflects less than 1% of the light that hits it, making it the darkest planet ever found. It is darker than coal, darker than black paint, almost as if it is swallowing light rather than reflecting it. What makes this even more disturbing is that scientists are still not completely sure why it is so dark. We know the planet orbits extremely close to its star, with surface temperatures reaching over 1,700 degrees Fahrenheit. At that heat, reflective clouds made of ammonia cannot exist. Instead, its atmosphere is likely filled with light-absorbing chemicals such as vaporized sodium, potassium, or titanium oxide. Even so, those materials alone do not fully explain how the planet manages to absorb nearly all incoming light. If you were floating nearby, you would not see a perfectly black sphere. because the planet is so hot, it gives off a faint red glow, like a burning ember drifting through space. A massive world that does not shine, does not reflect, and does not fully reveal what it is made of, a planet that hides in plain sight, reminding us that even when we can see something clearly, we still may not understand it at all. Number 6. WASP-17b, the backward giant. Two things make this planet especially strange. The first is how it moves. In almost every star system we observe, planets travel around their star in the same direction that the star itself spins. WASP-17b does the opposite, it orbits its star backward. This was the first planet ever discovered with a retrograde orbit, and it immediately shocked astronomers because it goes against the basic rules of how planetary systems are expected to form. Scientists believe this planet did not always move this way. It was likely thrown into this backward path after a close encounter with another planet or a strong gravitational struggle that knocked it off its original orbit. The second strange thing is its physical structure. WASP-17b is a huge planet, almost twice as wide as Jupiter, making it one of the largest planets ever found, yet despite its size, it is incredibly light, with only about half of Jupiter's mass. This makes the planet extremely puffy, with a density so low that, in theory, it could float on water like a giant beach ball, but this planet is far from gentle. Its atmosphere is intensely hot, reaching temperatures of around 700 degrees Fahrenheit. In 2023, the James Webb Space Telescope detected clouds made of quartz, formed directly from gas in the scorching atmosphere, a massive planet moving the wrong way, shaped by a violent past that still defines how it exists today. Number 5. WASP-127b, the planet with the fastest winds ever measured. The atmosphere of this planet behaves in a way that breaks almost every record astronomers know. WASP-127b is a gas giant that orbits extremely close to its star, completing a full year in just 4 days. Because of that proximity, its atmosphere is heated to around 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. But the most disturbing feature isn't the heat, it's the wind. On this planet, winds race around the equator at speeds of up to 2,500 miles per hour. That is fast enough to cross the entire Earth in less than an hour. These are the fastest winds ever measured on any planet. Astronomers discovered them by studying how starlight passes through the planet's atmosphere during a transit. Part of the gas was moving toward Earth, while another part was moving away, both at incredible speed. The only explanation that fits the data is a powerful jet stream ripping around the planet's equator. These winds move almost 6 times faster than the planet itself rotates. For comparison, the fastest winds ever recorded in our own solar system, on Neptune, reach only about 100 miles per hour. On WASP-127b, that would feel like a light breeze. The planet's weather is also uneven. Observations show that its poles are cooler than the rest of the planet, and there is even a noticeable temperature difference between the morning side and the evening side. A world where the atmosphere never rests, constantly being torn around faster than the planet beneath it can turn. Number 4. GJ436b, the planet made of burning ice. The phrase burning ice sounds like a contradiction, but on this planet, it may be real. GJ436b, also known as Zawadi, is a world that behaves in ways a normal solar system shouldn't allow. It orbits extremely close to its star, at only about 3% of the distance between Earth and the Sun, and because of that, it is being blasted with intense radiation. The planet is losing its atmosphere at a frightening rate, creating a massive tail of hydrogen gas stretching more than 8 million miles behind it, making the planet look more like a gigantic comet than a world. Despite surface temperatures of around 820 degrees Fahrenheit, scientists believe the planet's interior may be made of hot ice. The pressure inside is so extreme that water is squeezed into a solid form even while being heated. The planet's orbit is also wrong. Instead of circling around the star's equator like most planets, it travels over the star's poles, moving in a nearly vertical path. Its atmosphere is chemically unusual as well, filled with carbon monoxide instead of the methane scientists expected. Astronomers believe this planet did not form this way. It was likely pushed out of a safer orbit by a hidden massive companion, forcing it onto a path where it is slowly being torn apart by its own star. Number 3. KOI-55, the planet that was eaten alive. This planet survived something that should have completely destroyed it. KOI-55 once orbited a star known as a subdwarf B star, a star so hot that it burned nearly 6 times hotter than our Sun, around 18 million years ago. That star expanded into a red giant. As it grew, KOI-55 didn't just move closer to the star, it plunged directly into the star's outer layers. The planet was swallowed whole, buried inside a massive sphere of superheated plasma. Most planets placed in that situation would be erased almost instantly. But something unexpected happened. Instead of being destroyed, KOI-55 endured. The star stripped away and evaporated all of the planet's gas, leaving behind only its rocky core. Even today, long after the event, the surface temperature of this exposed core is still around 12,000 degrees Fahrenheit. If you were somehow placed on its surface, you would be reduced to individual atoms faster than your brain could register what was happening. The planet is now smaller than Earth and orbits its star incredibly fast. completing a full year in less than 6 hours. KOI 55 is not a world as it once was, it is the burned remains of a planet that passed through its own star and lived to keep circling the thing that nearly erased it. Number 2. LTT 9779b, the mirror planet. You are probably used to thinking of clouds as soft, white, and harmless. On this planet, they are anything but that. LTT 9779b, officially named Cornoa, is known as the mirror planet because it reflects more light than any other planet ever discovered. About 73% of the light that hits it is bounced straight back into space, making it shine unnaturally bright. This extreme reflectivity comes from its clouds, which are not made of water vapor, but of metal and glass. These dense, metallic clouds act like a giant mirror wrapped around the planet, and they also block telescopes from seeing clearly into its deeper layers. The planet itself is roughly the size of Neptune, but it is nothing like the cold blue giants in our solar system. It orbits dangerously close to its star, so close that it completes a full orbit in less than 24 hours. On the side facing the star, temperatures soar above 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit. What makes this planet even more unsettling is that it should not exist at all. It sits in what astronomers call the Neptunian desert, a region where planets of this size are usually stripped apart by radiation. Somehow, this one survived, hidden behind a blinding, reflective shield. Number 1, PSOJ 318, 5-22, the loneliest planet in the universe. On this planet, the sun never rises. That's because there is no sun at all. PSOJ 318, 5-22 is what astronomers call a rogue planet, meaning it does not orbit any star. It drifts alone through the empty space between star systems, likely after being violently ejected from its original home shortly after it formed, or it may have formed entirely on its own, never belonging anywhere in the first place. You might expect a planet without a star to be frozen solid, but this world is anything but cold. PSOJ 318, 5-22 is roughly the size of Jupiter, yet it is far more massive, packing about 8 times the mass into the same space. Because it is still very young, only about 23 million years old, it continues to glow with heat left over from its formation. Telescopes have observed the planet changing in brightness, revealing that it is covered in thick, stormy clouds that circle the planet every few hours. These clouds are not made of water, they are made of hot dust, molten metal, and even tiny grains of sand made from quartz. Deeper in the atmosphere, scientists believe there may be clouds of liquid iron, a planet with no sunrise, no orbit, and no destination, wandering through space, burning quietly in complete isolation. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy videos like this, consider liking the video and subscribing for more. New episodes explore strange questions science still can't fully answer.